Hello my friends, welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and I'm back yet again with another collection update. I've got a stack of awesome CDs, awesome albums here, which I've picked up over the last couple of months. All of which, these bands and these albums, fall pretty comfortably within the uncomfortable Venn diagram of good old-fashioned heavy metal crossing over with power metal. Power metal almost being a bit of a dirty word within the metal world, but I have a lot of love and appreciation for good old heavy metal and power metal as well, as controversial as that may be. And I actually tend to avoid, as much as possible, pigeonholing bands into they're a heavy metal band, they're a power metal band, they're a mixture of the two, because to be honest, it's a pointless and unnecessary exercise. Can we just enjoy it for what it is? Yeah, of course we can. And as much as I do love my extreme metal, I love death metal, brutal stuff, I love my black metal, I love my ripping thrash, I also have a lot of love and appreciation for, as I say, traditional heavy metal, something a bit more upbeat, energetic, that you can, have a good rock out to. And actually, I do also really appreciate some good power metal, something that's uplifting, something that's a bit more rousing and energetic. Who wants to be serious all the time? I don't. So these bands and these albums are all killer picks. Glad I got all of these ones. And let's go through. So without delay, starting off with the most recent album, the third album from Swedish metal Vikings, Brothers of Metal. This is Fimbulwinter from 2024. Brothers of Metal are an incredible band. Absolutely superb band. They were in fact the first bands that you need to hear recommendation I did hear on the channel. They have been a favourite of mine for a long time. Disappointingly, when this album came out, it was really expensive and I did resist getting it for a while. Listened to it on YouTube and Spotify, but finally the price went down a bit to a more reasonable price and I did pick up a copy. And I'm so glad that I did, because this album is absolutely superb. It's without a doubt Brothers of Metal's best album to date, and it is an absolute belter. It is a heavy album. It is very, very Viking. Thematically, it is all about the Vikings, about myth and legend, about Norse mythology. It's got it all going on. This is a really cool digipack, courtesy of, is it FM Records? AFM Records, apologies. This is a really good one. But this is start to finish an excellent album. Really heavy, with some killer riffs. Absolutely punching grooves in there. Some of these tracks are really freaking heavy. We've got no shortage of musical talent in this band. Just trying to get the little booklet out here as well. They're really dedicated with their appearance, with their costumes and get up. They really are Vikings. We've got an absolutely stunning vocalist in the form of, I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation, but I think it's Eva or Ilva. Absolutely beautiful female vocals there. She's got a great voice. Really, up there with the Floor Jansons and the Simone Simmons of the world. Absolutely brilliant. We've also got male vocals from Joachim, I should say, and Mats as well. Really good combination of more aggressive vocals and the cleans. They're kind of not quite as extreme, but in the vein of Leaves' Eyes, you've got a female vocalist and a male vocalist. But this album is absolutely incredible. I've listened to this album so many times recently. Absolutely incredible. Tracks in particular, like no bad tracks here, but in particular, real highlights for me. Giant Slayer, absolute beast. Heart of Stone is freaking heavy as hell, but they can be beautifully melodic and kind of folky when they want to. Tracks like Rivers of Gold is an absolute stunner. I freaking love it. It's such a great track, a real beautiful piece. Blood Red Sky is really rousing. It's a real anthem. It's a battle cry. and it's just so powerful. Absolutely incredible. Really great vocal work there. It's really rousing stuff. We've got the immediately very fun, very entertaining, heavy and energetic Heavy Metal Vikings. You know, it's all good fun. It's tongue-in-cheek stuff. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. It's just a really good heavy metal number. You know, it's got a real Priest, kind of Twisted Sister thing going on there. It's brilliant. The Other Son of Odin is fantastic. Berserker is an absolute beast. Nana's Fate and Fimbulwinter, all brilliant. So I 100% recommend this for any heavy metal fan, any fan of good kind of grooving heavy metal. You know, think of your legends like Priest, but also Man of War, that kind of good stuff, real rousing stuff. So 100%, this is a band you need to hear. Fimbulwinter is an album you need to hear as well. Sticking with Sweden then, another excellent band, Bloodbound. This being, again, an AFM release from 2023, this one. This is Tales from the North. I think Bloodbound do definitely fall more into the kind of power metal category. That said, they're a great band with a lot of kind of, you know, Maiden influence in there, Priest influence, no doubt. But this is a great one. It's very rousing. We've got some killer riffs, great vocals. The whole thing is really enjoyable. Obviously, if you can't tell, it is pretty sort of Norse, you know, it's pretty Viking. Tales from the North. Got the ravens there. Great tracks in the title track. Drink with the Gods is so rousing and anthemic as well. It's guaranteed to get you, you know, dancing on the table and guzzling out of a drinking horn. The Raven's Cry is brilliant. Between the Enemy Lines is fantastic. Sail Among the Dead. State My Claims. You know what? This is just a really decent album. And this is a really nice digi that we have here with a live from Dark Real? I assume that's a festival. CD as well. So you get a bonus live disc, which is actually really good as well. Some good live stuff there. This is a decent album. After Creatures of the Dark Realm, where I feel like that was very power metal, this one's a little bit more metal. So actually, you know, avoiding pigeonholing too much and splitting hairs, it's just a good album. A lot of fun, energetic, uplifting heavy metal. Bloodbound with Tales from the North. So then we've got one that's really new to me. This is the only album that I've got from Windrose, who I believe are Italian. They are a dwarf metal band, so themed on the dwarves, very much Tolkien, Middle-earth stuff going on there. And this is Stone Hymn from 2017. So this one I bought entirely on a whim. I'd heard about Windrose. Really, the main motive was I've actually just recently snapped up tickets to see the mighty Powerwolf at Wembley Stadium in March 2026. They are joined by the incredible Hammerfall and also Windrose. So I thought, hey, should probably get to grips, get familiar with their material before the show. This is a really good album. They're a really good band. We did a little bit of, YouTube research. This album happened to be the most reasonably priced one, so I picked this up first. I'll definitely be getting more. It is heavy metal. Some of the tracks are really heavy. They've got like proper breakdowns in there. It's almost sort of getting up to thrash tendencies at times, but it's, again, very, very rousing, uplifting. Got some good vocals, good musicianship across the board. Heavy stuff. Can't say too much about the band because I'm not that familiar with them, or not that familiar with this album, in fact. But you know what? This is a good one. This is definitely a band that I will be getting even more to grips with. Windrose. And this one was a really good album. Stone Hymn. Okay, now we're going to the Germans for a succession of great German bands here. This one is a particular favourite of mine. This is Brainstorm. A fantastic band. This is Plague of Rats, the most recent release, actually from 2025, released earlier this year. This band is a brilliant band. They are a heavy metal band. And actually, I was revisiting some of their earlier albums not that long ago. They were really heavy, sort of verging on like thrash at times. Really freaking punchy band. Plague of Rats is a continuation, I should say, of a very fine run of albums. Their last few albums have been really, really solid. Actually, they don't have any bad albums. This one, I am certainly enjoying it a lot. The album kicks off with a monster of a track, Beyond Enemy Lines, which is really catchy. It's really uplifting stuff. Got some great riffs in there, some top-notch vocals as well. Garuda, again, very heavy, some real driving riffs, some proper blasting drumming in there. Great choruses. I think that's something that really does punctuate this whole album. The Shepherd Girl is another great one. Your Soul That Lingers in Me is a bit of a anthem. We've got some female vocal contributions in there as well. From Hell is a heavy number. Also features Alex Krull from Leaves' Eyes on there. It's a great track, very heavy, proper good riffs in there. Crawling is a great one. Curtains Fall, brilliant closing track. It's a really, really, really solid album. Can't recommend this band enough. They are a solid German heavy metal band. Definitely delve into Plague of Rats. Definitely delve into their back catalogue as well, because there's no duds here. Solid as a rock. So Brainstorm, Plague of Rats also does feature a bonus DVD in this format. Behind the scenes making of documentary. So, sticking with German heavy metal, one of my favourite German heavy metal bands, Gravedigger. This one is Symbol of Eternity. It was their full length from 2022. So I do actually have this on vinyl. Again, it's a classic case of way too much for the CD version. I think when this came out it was about £25. And yeah, it does have a live disc as well, live at Metal Hammer Paradise, but that's still not enough to really justify the initial cost. But for some reason, the vinyl was significantly less, and I think in the end I picked it up for about £14-15, something like that. But this album's a good album, incredible artwork. Gravedigger never disappoint. Chris Boltondahl and company. This is a good album. However, it's not one of my absolute favourite Gravedigger albums, I must say. I think it does have some strong stuff going on there. I think it has some standout tracks. Just trying to find some of the lineup pictures here, because they've gone all out, as always, with their art. Very Crusader-looking Chris there, the kind of main man vocalist. Very iconic voice, very distinctive, gravelly, kind of low vocals that we've got here. And actually, I think this was the last album to feature Axel Ritt on guitars. He's a good player, very good player indeed. So this album thematically was all about the Crusades and the Templars, and it does have some good tracks. As I say, Battle Cry is a great one. Hell Is My Purgatory is a really uplifting heavy metal number. Symbol of Eternity, Saladin, Knights of Jerusalem, Heart of a Warrior, Sky of Swords, Holy Warfare. You've got some good stuff here. I don't know, it just doesn't quite click with me in the same way that some of their other albums have in recent years that have been very heavy metal. Even the Fields of Blood album, that one was really quite a metal album. This feels a bit more kind of grand and epic. Not to say it's a bad album, because it's not. And available here in a lovely kind of media book format, courtesy of Rock Angels Records. It's still definitely something to check out if you're looking for some rather epic heavy metal. Good album, some good songs, just not one of my favourites. So Symbol of Eternity. And actually the live disc is good fun as well. Never had the pleasure of catching Gravedigger live. I don't know if they've come to the UK at all, or certainly not recently, but their live releases are always of good quality and good standard. The new album, however, from 2024, 25, so it is actually earlier this year. I was going to say late 24. It's not. Bone Collector is an absolute tank of an album. This is a fantastic album. This is Gravedigger going very heavy metal. So they're kind of leaving the epic stuff. They're stripping it all back. They're really taking things back to basic. And Bone Digger absolutely kills. Absolutely brilliant. So they've had a shuffle around with their lineup as well. So obviously we've still got Chris on vocals. We've got Tobias Kirsting on guitars now, alongside Jens Becker on bass and Marcus Neep on drums. The album is actually produced by Chris Botendahl, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. This is a really solid heavy metal album. You know, if you like that kind of latter period Saxon, for example, from, shall we say, Metalheads onwards, that kind of stuff, you know, really pure heavy freaking metal, then you're definitely going to dig this absolutely superb album. Great cover as well. I don't know if it's AI or not. It's hard to tell these days, but absolutely love it. Bone Collector's so good. The title track is ripping. Some killer riffs there. Absolutely driving drums. Good vocals as well. The Rich, the Poor, the Dying is very catchy. Kingdom of Skulls is epic. The Devil's Serenade. To be honest, like the whole album, no filler, all killer, really reliable stuff. It's released through Reigning Phoenix Music. This is one of the albums to look out for this year. It is top level stuff. Freaking excellent. Absolutely love it. And like I say, Gravedigger, they've got so many albums, a ton of albums over the years. I've got all their other albums, and this is easily one of their best, I personally feel. And with some great albums like Return of the Reaper in more recent years, or Healed by Metal, of course. Some tough competition, but this kills. This absolutely kills. Gravedigger, Bone Collector, check that out. Freaking hell, that's a masterpiece. Okay, so we're staying with Germany for one of the biggest bands in heavy metal at this time, it seems. They have rocketed in popularity and status over the years. They've become, well, they are an absolute enigma, but they have become an institution. They have become a metal religion, in fact. And I love this band. We're talking Powerwolf. Wolf-themed heavy metal. It's powerful stuff. I have been a fan of Powerwolf for many moons now. You know, lupus moons. No pun intended there, but this band, they've got something very unique. Just like Ghost, just like Maiden, they've got their own thing going on, and it's clearly identifiable what it is. They've got their whole aesthetic down. You see shots of them live imagery, and it's incredible. The intricacy of their stage set, their whole get up. It's just so clear. They put so much effort and attention to detail in there. But what we have got is some recent reissues for Anniversary. This being, I believe it's their second album, Lupus Day. So I think this was re-released for the 15th anniversary, courtesy of Metal Blade Records. This did actually come out in 2022. Again, it was really expensive for a long time. But I recently picked up a second-hand copy, which is immaculate, for very little money indeed. And I'm glad that I did. I've got the original, but this is a really nice package. I don't believe that it's been played around with too much. A nice media book here with some lyrics and photographs and all that good stuff. But what we do have is the inclusion of a second disc of demos. So we've actually got a demo disc, and this is more for the fans. This is more for those that are dedicated Powerwolf fans, of course. We've got demos of some of the kind of key highlight tracks there, and they are good. They are enjoyable. But this album has some absolutely fantastic tracks on it. Really Maiden-esque heavy metal with a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of brilliant vocals as well from Attila, frontman. The whole band is red hot, but particular highlights, we've got We Take It From The Living, which is very anthemic. We've got Saturday Satan, which is just pure Maiden homage. We've got In Blood We Trust, We've got When the Moon Shines Red, which is very kind of melodic and endemic there. Tiger of Sobrod, and Lupus Day, a kind of closing piece there. Very good indeed. A great album. Maybe not their biggest or best. Certainly it's up there though. It's a freaking great album. Sticking with Powerwolf and sticking with anniversary releases, I believe this was the 10th anniversary reissue from 24 of Blood of the Saints. This is a very big album for the band, very important album, and it was given the reissue treatment, as I say, for that 10th anniversary, courtesy of Metal Blade. Similar format. We've got a nice media book here with lyrics and pictures, trying to open it up without damaging it. You know, we've got it all going on. And again, we have the demos. Again, it's for the fans. It's for fans of Powerwolf. This isn't like the sort of stuff that's going to get you into the band in the first place, unless you like a little bit more kind of stripped back, raw, heavy metal. But what an album this is. This is an absolute masterpiece. Packed full of killer tracks. Sanctified with Dynamite, We Drink Your Blood, Murder at Midnight, I absolutely love. All We Need Is Blood, Son of a Wolf, Night of the Werewolves, Phantom of the Funeral. Love it. Absolutely brilliant. We also do get some orchestral versions tagged onto the end of the first disc as well. Incredible. I love this album. Can't wait to catch Powerwolf in March at Wembley. Decided to take the leap on that one. I've never seen Powerwolf before. As I say, they've been a favourite of mine for many years. They mean a lot to me. And they're just a freaking great heavy metal band. They're a lot of fun, but they can play. They have written some masterful albums, absolutely incredible, and they can really play. And they've got some incredible vocals, incredible stuff going on there. Epic. So, Blood of the Saints, masterpiece album. Bringing us up to date with Powerwolf then. Finally got round to getting Wake Up the Wicked, the most recent album from 2024. This is released through Napalm Records. It was very expensive for a very long time, but I did finally pick up this nice media book version again on Amazon, and I believe it was about £15, £15, so a little bit more reasonable. And it does include the album on disc 1, and on disc 2 we have a concert from Live in New York, which I believe was their first tour of the States, and that is a brilliant live album, I will say. The band sounds red hot, but also, if you were almost looking to have an introduction to the band, that wouldn't be a bad place to start. It's proof that they can play live, and that's just the greatest hits live. But the album itself is brilliant. Absolutely love it. The previous album, Interludium, I wasn't necessarily as taken with that album as I was Call of the Wild. Not really quite as into that album as I am to this one, certainly. I don't know, it just kind of, it had some great moments, but it didn't quite have the oomph of their other more recent albums. Wake Up the Wicked, this is on finest of forms. This is benchmark stuff. Bless Them with the Blade, Sinners of the Seven Seas, just excellent. Heretic Hunters, 1589, title track. Thunder Priest, of course. We Don't Want to Be No Saints, and Vargamore. Absolutely brilliant. Not a dud on this album. Incredible start to finish. Great cover as well. Absolutely superb artwork on pretty much all of Powerwolf's albums. There's no bad covers there. But this is one to go for. If you're not familiar with Powerwolf, this is a pretty good place to get yourself acquainted. Starting point. Love it. It's a great one. Shame that I didn't hear it at the time when it came out. I heard a few singles. I think I was just focusing elsewhere, and also it was really expensive at the time. But it's such a great album, so I'm making up for it now. Can't wait to hopefully hear some of those tracks live in March. One final article from Powerwolf then. Picked this one up recently. This is the Monumental Mass, which is effectively a cinematic metal event. This is a live album. I believe that this is one of those kind of lockdown live albums. More not playing to an actual crowd, more kind of just playing to a stream or for the purposes of it being recorded. I didn't hear it at the time. I didn't pick it up because, again, there's so much else to listen to and to pick up. But I finally got round to getting a copy because I kept seeing things about it and hearing about how good it was. This is only the CDs, double live album, and it's great. This is really good. This is a really spectacular piece, really epic. It's an absolute greatest hits across the board there. Incredible stuff. I won't go through every track because it is essentially just the best tracks from the band across the years. You know, if you were looking for an introduction to Powerwolf, this would be a pretty good starting point. There's no duds here. The kind of interlude interim pieces really add a whole new level of atmosphere and character to it. It's great. It really is. And they are just such a potent heavy metal band. They freaking are. So, the Monumental Mass double live album, courtesy of Napalm Records, and I know that you can get it in vinyl and lavish box sets and all that sort of stuff. So I'd like to check out the actual DVD or Blu-ray or whatever it is. But the CD is a great one for now. Realised just one that I've overlooked here that I meant to cover earlier on. It's a little bit of a deviation, but certainly a very important heavy metal band and a heavy metal album. This is the debut album from Cirith Ungol. This is Frost and Fire. Now, this is a US heavy metal band, one of the best and one of the pioneering US heavy metal bands. Incredible artwork, I'd like to just say, because that is absolutely brilliant. And I believe it is Michael Whelan. But this is the 40th anniversary remaster and remix of Cirith Ungol's debut album. This is a funny band because they're a bit of a kind of underground royalty, a bit of an underground institution, but their music is brilliant. And this was actually released in 1981. So this was right there. You know, Nwabum was exploding in the UK. It was in full flow, in fact. You had some pretty solid US heavy metal bands as well, kind of springing up at that time. Cirith Ungol were a brilliant band, absolutely brilliant. And this 40th anniversary Metal Blade reissue, remix and remaster is really good, worth checking out. I've got the original, but I particularly like the remix. It sounds massive, done a great job there. They're both the same. You know, just the full album. There's no bonus tracks and extra bits and pieces. The remaster as well sounds fantastic. So, if you're into very epic fantasy heavy metal, you know, if you like more recent bands like Visigoth or heavy metal wraiths, Morgul Blade, I should say, then you're definitely going to dig Cirith Ungol. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Good old-fashioned heavy metal. Vocals do take a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, and it's an interesting one because it's got kind of strange little proggy tendencies and little kind of odd bits thrown into the mix. But it's a great album indeed. Okay, so I've got one last very powerful, very heavy article that, again, didn't get at the time because it's been really expensive for, well, the entire time it's been out. It's been out since 2022. But recently stumbled upon a new and sealed earbook edition of Sabaton's most recent full-length album, The War to End All Wars. This is an epic. This is a masterpiece. I freaking love Sabaton. I will be catching them on their legendary tour this December at the Nottingham Motorpoint. I'm very excited for that one. Sabaton, a band I've got a lot of love for. I'm sure we're all familiar with this Swedish metal machine. They are a bit of a globe conqueror. They've rocketed in popularity over the years. First time that I saw them was actually at Download Festival. I think it was 2014. You know, right down the bill alongside Sepultura, I think it was. Also, I've seen them previously at the Norwich Waterfront, right down the front there, and the Norwich UEA. And now it's all the big arenas, the big headline spots, and with good reason, because they are a great band. Thematically, all about history, about the struggles of humanity and about war, primarily. And this was the second album in a row to be thematically based on the First World War, the Great War. The previous album, The Great War, of course, and then The War to End All Wars. And this is a great album. It's harrowing and powerful and rousing at the same time. Sabaton are just a great band. You know, their frontman Joachim Broden has got a very iconic voice, very iconic vocal style, and the whole thing is very masculine, yes, but it's very powerful stuff. It really is. And they're just a great heavy metal band, absolutely brilliant. And this album is packed full of absolute gems. Stormtroopers, Dreadnought, Soldier of Heaven is epic. Hellfighters is a proper punchy number. Lady of the Dark. They've even got their very, emotive, thought-provoking Christmas Truce on here. And that closing finale. And it does feel like the closing of a chapter, which obviously is, because Legendary is very much based on ancient history, the ancient world. We've got Versailles as well, closing out the album. But this earbook includes the standard edition and the history edition. The history edition featuring narration in there as well. But this album, this media book version, is just full of awesome artwork alongside the lyrics. I'll actually just show a few pictures here. So they've got artwork to kind of accompany obviously the themes of the album and also the different tracks as well. And as someone that loves history and has a particular interest in modern warfare, First and Second World Wars, this is really potent stuff and easily enjoyable in a sense that, it's not a history lesson. It's not going through too much depth and detail, but it is just kind of about the general themes of war, about certain heroes or significant events. And just look at that artwork for the Dreadnought. Amazing. Gives me chills. Freaking amazing stuff. Absolute beasts. And we've got some pretty interesting... They really do go to great lengths with their costumes and stuff. We've got some interesting shots of the band as well. The band's on good form here. Sounds epic. Sounds very grand indeed. So glad to have finally got this. Very excited to catch Sabaton live again after many moons. War to End All Wars is a brilliant album. All the singles for Legendary have been great, so I'm really excited for the new album as well. So, there we have it. A mighty heavy metal collection update featuring a whole host of brilliant bands, brilliant albums, great stuff that I've picked up along the way. Check out all of these bands. If you haven't checked out Powerwolf, Gravedigger, Sabaton, Brainstorm, Bloodbound, Brothers of Metal, Windrose, or Kirith Ungol, make yourself acquainted. Don't be put off by any power metal tags. Don't be too disconcerted by that. These are great bands. Enjoyable, heavy freaking metal. So, my friends, what are your thoughts on these bands? What are your thoughts on these albums? Are you fans? Are you not? Let me know if you've got any choice picks here. Interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others, as always. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Hope you've enjoyed this humble collection update. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good, heavy things. Feel free to like, subscribe. That support is very much appreciated. Until next time, do take care of yourselves, listen to heavy frickin' metal, and stay frickin' heavy.